City police have determined they do not suspect any foul play or criminality in the death of a male whose body was found on Breton Road. The body was discovered on Sunday and a post-mortem was completed yesterday. At the end of June, Superior East OPP responded to a call of human remains found along Highway 17 in the township of Rabazo. The remains have now been identified as 32-year-old Devin Collin from Sudbury. The investigation has revealed his death to be a homicide. The victim was last seen on May 29th, and police are asking anyone who may have information to contact them. The federal government is giving Ontario $54 million over the next 3 years to combat illegal gun and gang activity, with the funds earmarked for specialized prosecutors, policing projects, and intelligence gathering efforts in jails. Federal Crime Reduction Minister Bill Blair, who made the announcement yesterday, said the funding is aimed at preventing further violence. The province said it will use the cash to expand a dedicated team of firearms bail prosecutors in Peel Region and to establish a Guns and Gangs Fund for policing projects in the Greater Toronto Area and the Greater Golden Horseshoe Region, which stretches from the Niagara region to the Durham region. It will also use the funds to create a new Guns and Gangs team in Eastern Ontario that will be made up of 4 assistant Crown attorneys working with Ottawa Police. Ontario Attorney General Doug Downey said the money will also be used to increase intelligence gathering in jails and to support victims of human trafficking.
It's up to the leaders of all G7 countries to work together not only to avoid economic hardship, but to build a global economy that doesn't leave anyone behind and creates real jobs and real opportunities for people.
Prime Minister Justin Trudeau ramped up the G7 meetings with a pledge to spend $15 million and the use of Canadian water bombers to fight the wildfires currently ravaging the Amazon rainforest. Trudeau also spoke on modernizing World Trade Organization rules and Canada's opposition to Russia being reintegrated into the G7.
I also made clear that Canada does not support Russia's reintegration to the G7. Today, alongside other G7 countries, Canada is stepping up to fight the fires in the Amazon. Canada is offering to help by sending water bombers, as well as a financial contribution of $15 million. You cannot have a plan for the future of the economy unless you also have a plan to fight climate change. Now, the President and even some Conservative politicians at home seem to disagree with us on that, but I'm very much looking forward to the election in which we get to have this conversation with Canadians. Everyone around the table at the G7, indeed most of our partners around the world.
President, you expect to host at the Doral Golf Course, the G7?
Yeah, it's seeming to set up the best. It's close to the, we haven't made a final decision, but it's right next to the airport, right there, meaning a few minutes away. It's a great place.
Well, it certainly doesn't look very good at all. I mean, the president hasn't really cut ties the way that most candidates do, or even presidents do, with their economic dealings.
A political scientist in Washington says President Donald Trump's suggestion that next year's G7 summit be held at one of his resorts raises concerns under the Constitution.
They love the location of the hotel, and they also like the fact that it's right next to the airport for convenience.
Well, these were one of the biggest concerns of the founders of the Constitution. They did not want anybody to be bought off by many of the different kings and princesses of Europe, who were always looking to try to find leverage in the New World. And so trying to figure out if somebody can take advantage of our most powerful government in the entire world, that's a bit concerning.
And it's Miami. Doral, Miami, so it's a great area.
This has been an absolute total cut from the past in terms of process. Now, the president has tried to talk it up a big game, saying that he has no interest, that he's actually losing money. That's actually not the case, and that his sons are running the show. But that's sort of like the mob boss mentality, where the mob boss, as Michael Cohen said when he was testifying before Congress, President Trump doesn't tell you what you need to do, you just sort of understand it. And I think a lot of people think he's governing in that sort of way.